Mohamed El-Erian. Thank you very much for coming to speak to our leadership masterclass today. And it's great to get a chance to benefit from your views. We've got a lot of people here who have aspirations to play a leadership role and make a difference to Egypt. What would your message be to them about what makes a good leader who can make a difference?
So first, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for inviting me. It's a huge honor. When I think of the leaders that have inspired me, I think of the following characteristics. One is they lead by example. They make you feel that they will do what they expect you to do, and you may even do it better than them. Secondly, they surround themselves with diversity. They don't try to recreate who they are, but they understand that cognitive diversity is absolutely key to good decision making. So they bring together teams to help them that are very different in how they are, each of them, structured. And finally, the really great leaders are not just the ones who ask the what, the why, and the when, but the how, and are willing to question the how. And in questioning the how, they show great leadership.
All sounds good to me too. And you've in your career, you've offered a lot of leadership, particularly in economics and in business. As you look at the Egyptian economy now, what three things would you say are the keys to really get the best growth from the Egyptian economy and the best opportunities for Egyptians?
First, unleashing its people. I shared a story, and I'm old, from the 80s, when I was taking an Egypt Air flight back from Cairo to New York. It was the old airport. It was the middle of the night. We were 5 hours late, and no one had told us why. We didn't know where we were leaving, where we were not leaving. It was the old Egypt Air. And we got on the plane finally, and I was sitting next to an American business person who really was unhappy. And he didn't say a single word to me till we arrived in New York. And as we were landing at JFK Airport in New York, we had the perfect Egypt Air landing. You couldn't feel the wheels touch the tarmac. And this person who hadn't spoken to me looked at me and said, "Typical Egypt." And I looked at him and said, "Pardon?" He said, "Typical. Look at that. We have the best landing in the world by an Egyptian. But put him in a system that doesn't unleash him properly, we're 5 hours late and we don't know why we're late." So the first thing and the most important thing is to unleash this incredible productive resource that's there, especially among the young. The second is to continue to build infrastructure, to enable private-public partnerships by facilitating production, employment. And the third element is to lower the twin deficits. Because if we do not do that, we will be on the one hand producing a lot, but on the other hand also causing financial stability. So by enabling people, by enabling production, and by overcoming the twin deficits, this is a country that can grow very fast and that has grown very fast in the past.
Now, when a lot of people in the outside world and in the States where you live think about Egypt, of course they remember the events of 2011 and the huge amount of hope and aspiration for change that we saw then. Do you think that cause for hope and optimism is still alive? How do you look at the past and the future now?
So for me, 2011 was about the empowered Egyptian. She or he felt that they had greater control over their destiny, and they wanted their country to work, and they wanted to be proud of their country. That has not gone away. That is still here in a big way. We are seeing significant progress being made at the micro level that people don't hear about. I see more entrepreneurs in Egypt today than I've seen for a very long time. And I think that this very notion that the country belongs to the Egyptians and that Egyptians can be empowered to live a life that is a life of greater prosperity, greater social justice, is something that every Egyptian feels today much more than they felt before 2011.
Let me ask you one last question. People often accuse me of being quite young for an ambassador until I point out that actually something like 88% of all Egyptians are younger than me, so maybe I'm already too old. But one of the great characteristics and one of the great wealths of Egypt is this huge young population with all its talent and aspiration. If you could have one piece of advice for the younger generation of Egyptians, what would your word of advice be?
Take ownership for your own education. Technology enables you access to things that in my times was unthinkable. You had to be very lucky to be in the right school or the right university. That's no longer the case today. Little things like Khan Academy can enable you to increase your human capital in ways that were unthinkable in my days. So take responsibility for your education. Don't leave it just to schools and universities. And be curious. There's a lot to learn. And I have seen Egyptians excel in so many different fields. And I think that that's the key issue, is that today technology enables you to learn so much more about the world and to self-improve. And you can do that in a very meaningful way.
Great. Well, those are inspiring words. Thank you very much for spending time with us today. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohamed. Thank you.